All right, five. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith everyone's doing well, and everything is just unfolding perfectly.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
excited yet again because I
yes,
have an
yes,
amazing guest. You know, I love speaking with people and engaging in uplifting and energetic dialogues, and today is no exception. And
yes,
today I have Tammi Morrison. I did pronounce that right, right?
yes.
Okay. And before she
Perfect.
tells you anything about her, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her.
All
So,
right.
Tammi Morrison is a wife, mother, grandmother of a handsome little boy. She has been in the medical field for over 30 years. And though, while thankful for her career, she has stepped into her true destiny. She is an angel intuitive, which just means that she has cultivated a supreme connection with her spiritual team, God, angels, and can read your energy, which she uses to show women in transition how to move forward and not get stuck in past limiting beliefs through sharing her personal empowering narrative that teaches others how to improve and transform their life from pain to power through storytelling. Tammi is passionate about healing and being a conduit to assist people in true healing. She is a fourth generation healer. Tammi is a best-selling author and has written and published shaman, 3 books, and many articles. She also is a book shaman that assists others in birthing their books into reality. Amazing. She enjoys making energy infused jewelry, dancing, and singing. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, just so many things going on, and it's just amazing. How are you doing today, Tammi?
I am well. I am so excited to be here. I mean, just being in your energy is amazing because you are awesome. I just have to say that.
Thank you. And the feeling is mutual. And I believe everything unfolds perfectly. Like I just said, I don't just say that, but I really do.
Yes.
Just to elaborate on that a bit, like we had some scheduling conflicts last time, but I already knew it wasn't, there was no stress or tension at all because I already
Yes.
know that just meant the universe or spirit or God was just saying, okay, today's not the right time. Let's do it.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
all. I embrace and flow with everything. So
Yes.
yes, I already knew no matter what, we're gonna make this happen. So
Yes.
it's just amazing. So let's just get right into you.
All
So
right.
how did this come about that you knew that you've been in the medical field for 30 years, and
Yes.
we won't really elaborate on that unless you want to, but what I'm interested in is although you had this career in the medical field helping people already, that you
Yes.
knew that your true destiny is to be an angel intuitive. Now, how did that come about? How did you know this? That was your true destiny and calling, and where did this even begin?
So I can speak to my grandmother was a pastor, preacher, teacher, evangelist, prophetess type, right? And I used to live with her, and she actually was my first mentor. She was the first person that actually recognized that I had some gifts and I was special.
Okay,
And
amazing.
that actually led me to when I was little, she used to call me to pray for people because she used to go to all these little churches because we're from the South. And she would go to all these little churches in the backwoods. You couldn't even find them in the daytime. But she would go to all these little churches and she would take me. And so she would, sometimes she would call me out. I was like 4 or 5 years old, little girl. And she would say, come and lay hands on this person and pray. And I would lay hands on them and pray, and they would be healed. And this was as a child. And then I
That's
started
amazing.
to experience where I would see dead people, but not in the typical way.
Right.
And so that, of course, at that age, at that young age, it's kind of unnerving and a little scary and all that. But my grandmother, she was an amazing guide because she was like so far ahead of her time. um Not like her peers, because
Right.
we were Pentecostal holiness.
Right.
So she had started to see beyond that, and she started to like listen to Abraham Hicks and Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay. and some of those people that were talking about real healing. And so
Right,
she
right, right.
started, kind of encouraging me in that area. And when I would see the dead people, how I would see them was, say, like if I saw somebody, and sometimes they would be sick people, sometimes not. But I would see, we would go see somebody and I would look at them, and all of a sudden I could see them in the casket,
Wow.
with whatever they had on. And the weird thing, the thing that unnerved me the most was when we would go to the funeral, they would have on what I saw them on. And
Wow.
that was like mind boggling.
Premonition. You already had it.
Right. So I asked God to take that away because I was little. I was like 7, 8,
It was
9
too
years
much for
old.
you to bear at that
It was
time.
too much. I was like, oh my God. And I asked my grandma, what was I supposed to do with that? And she said that you're supposed to pray. Because she said, sometimes, she said, if God tells you to tell the people, then you tell them. She said, but if he doesn't, then you just pray.
Right.
And so that was, kind of my introduction to all of this. But then I just kind of pushed all that stuff to the side. And I was like, because I already felt like a unicorn,
Right.
I already felt like I was kind of out there,
It's
and
different.
yeah, always felt different.
Unique.
Yes, unique. That's the word.
Right.
And so I was like, oh my God, how can I do this? And so as time went on, I entered into the family business, which I say that because I'm a nurse. My mother's a nurse. My grandmother was in nursing, and almost all of my mother's sisters are nurses, and almost all of my grandmother's sisters. So many of
I
us, and I have
I have
many
some aunts that
cousins.
are nurses. Excuse me
Yes.
for interrupting you, but
Oh
yeah, I have
no, no.
some aunts that are nurses too back in
It's so
Ohio.
common. It's
Yes.
common,
Nurses,
especially for
yes.
us,
Back in the
because
Midwest and
it's
the South. Yes. A lot
it's
of
a good
caregivers.
field.
Yeah.
Yes,
In medical
yes.
field. Yes.
Yes. And so I said, okay, I entered that. And then as I went on, I started noticing things that, I couldn't really do doing that type of work. And then as I made a transition in my own life, I got divorced, and I heard spirit tell me that it was time for me to leave the place that I lived for about 16, 17 years, which
Right.
was South Carolina. And I was like, okay, all right. But then you know how spirit does. They give you get direction and you get instruction, but you just get it step by step. You don't get the
Right.
whole
Right.
laid out.
Yes.
So
You don't
basically,
have the whole path and all the
right,
answers at once. No.
right. You
You
got
just
to
have to start
follow,
going in that direction.
yes, follow the breadcrumbs.
No, I get it.
So I was like, okay. So I did. So I moved 2,000 miles away
Wow.
and went to Arizona. And it was wild because I knew that it was a spirit led move. Because to be honest, when I tell you that doors shut everywhere for me where I was at, everywhere,
Wow.
couldn't
I
find a
believe it.
job, and I had been there for 17 years. So I knew a lot of people, and, I had a good network, but everything, it's like when spirit said it's time to go, everything shut for me. I mean, I was like, wow, and
Basically nudged you.
yes,
Yeah.
nudge, kick me.
Kicked you. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, but yeah, there you go.
I get out,
Get out. I said go. I told you
I
in a
said,
gentle way the
go.
first time.
Yes. And you didn't listen,
You
but
didn't listen.
yeah,
That's
no,
right.
I try not to do that because I've done that in the past, and it never worked out that way. So I said, I'm going to listen. So I did. I picked up, talked to my kids because they were all grown. And I said, it's time for me to go. I'm leaving, packed my car and drove. Went to stay with one of my cousins who said, you can come and, stay in my house. So I was like, well, I have a place to stay, so I'm going to go. Didn't have a job, barely had money. I mean, it was
Yeah.
crazy. When I think about it now, it was crazy, but it was faith,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So I said, okay, and as I did that, I found Reiki. And so I became a Reiki master, and I started working with energy. And then took some more courses. I'm a theta healer. I'm sacred soul alignment practitioner. I did a whole bunch of different courses in energy, and I just started just finding my path and finding my way to help people to heal. And then, to be honest with you, when I did that, I still knew that there was more. I knew that I needed to go deeper.
Right.
And at the end of last year, Spirit spoke to me just as clear as we are talking.
Right.
It's
Right.
time for you to go deeper. I
Right.
know you've experienced that.
Oh, absolutely. That's why
Yes.
I enjoy these conversations, because I don't want to get off top. Please hold your thought and don't lose your train of thought. But it's exciting to me because I can picture myself, and not to always dwell on the past, but I like to have contrast and have reference, because
Yes.
it motivates me, because I'd say
Yes.
this conversation that we're having now, if I would have had this conversation with you or listened to you 6 years ago, maybe it would have been just a bunch of like Harry Potter witchcraft sounding uh superstitious
Yes.
fear, and like, what is this, you know?
Yes.
But today it's comfortable. And I wanted to say something else, and please still hold that thought.
Oh yeah, no worries.
When you talked about your grandmother, or was that your
Hmm.
grandmother?
Yes.
Similarities with me, not with my grandmother, but with me per se. I grew
Hmm.
up in a very religious family, and I'm never going to undermine or say anything
Yeah,
uh,
right.
controversial about anyone's beliefs or
No.
religious or anything like that. I believe everybody has to go through their own path or whatnot.
Yes.
But I got
We're
to a
all on a
point.
journey.
Yeah, we're all on the journey, so there's
Hmm.
no discredit to anybody. But
Right.
I started to see beyond what I was just told to
The
be quiet
box.
about and don't question about. And it led me to people like, Bob Proctor and other people too, Napoleon Hill, and
Yes.
just all kinds of people, Joseph Murphy and Neville
Yes.
Goddard, and even Reverend Ike. I was like,
Yeah.
he was talking
Yes.
about some things back in the day that a lot of, and
Yes.
I don't really want to say too much about, elaborate on this, but especially
Hmm.
a lot of our people were like,
Yes.
whoa, what, the way he was putting it. And he
Yes.
was putting it in that, in a esoteric way, that the conscious, speaking
Yes.
of the conscious mind.
I
And
agree.
yeah, so in
Same.
empowering ways. He was trying to empower people
Yes.
instead of the traditional
Yes.
ways of, and I'll
It
leave it on,
disempowering.
of disempowering and fear.
Yes.
So a lot of us didn't understand that,
Yes.
because we
And
were
he was
used to
another
the,
one. He was
yes,
another one my grandmother used to listen to.
yeah, before his
Because
time too.
I was almost like in her inner circle because I lived with her.
Right.
And she also was one of those people that see, and I saw healing firsthand because she would work with people and she would bring them in the house. She would work with people to help them get off of drugs. She would help people. We worked with this one lady, and I never forget, she was a white lady, and she came and stayed in our house.
Right.
And grandma helped her to get healed from, I think she was bulimic or anorexic or one of those because she was so thin. But I
Right.
remember her being so thin because I was young.
Right.
But she worked with her and got her healed. She would
Healed.
help them. She would bring them in and she would put them on a fast. She would have them fast like 21 days.
Just cleanse themselves out.
Yes.
Right.
And
No,
then
I
she would
get it.
teach them how to pray and teach them how to
Wow.
talk to God and all of this. So these are things that I grew up with. I grew up watching her do this.
And you,
And
that
I
was
knew.
so, and you didn't, at the time, you didn't realize, probably, I mean, you knew some things, but how blessed you were to have her to
Right.
show you these
Yes.
empowering ways.
Yes. 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 I mean,
Wow.
it was amazing when I think back on it because I'm actually writing a book about her. And I've invited other
Amazing.
people to come in and write about their grandmothers, just to do like a multi-author book honoring the grandmothers. And but she was so amazing because she would just bring the people in and it didn't even matter. And sometimes when they came in, especially if they were on drugs, ooh, they would be dirty,
Yeah.
all that. And so she would bring them in and she would clean them up, physically. And then she would, feed them good food. And then she would have them fast and she would teach them how to pray. And all of this went on in the house. And I saw all of this. And then
Wow.
there came a time when I recognized and I realized there was a reason why I was there and not any of my other 35 cousins.
While you were
Because
exposed to that. Why it was
I
you.
was the one. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew that it was a
Everything was
destiny.
orchestrated on
Yes.
purpose,
Yes.
for a
Like a
purpose.
legacy for sure.
Right.
Yes. And I recognize that, now, of course, as we look back and then as we go on this journey and we realize and we see, who we are and, what we are supposed to be, as far as the thing that spirit has called us to be and do
Right.
and contribute in this world. And
Right.
so for me, I was like, when Spirit told me in December it's time to go deeper, I was like, oh my.
How much deeper?
Right. What you want me to do? Should I go in
What
the
you want me
dark?
to do? Dive to the bottom of the ocean or what? I can't
Lord, what you
swim.
want? And so
What you
and
want?
so I was, and then I started realizing and feeling that, people are dying young.
Right. Right.
People are
Yes.
dying. I mean, why, how did somebody die at 25 and they call it natural causes? How does that work?
Yes. Yeah,
You know?
not to get off the subject, but a lot of people, and I want to take this time to say this real quick because
Mm-hmm.
you opened up something.
Oh,
A
yes.
lot of times when they're saying people are dying of natural causes, a lot of times people are dying of and I had it assessed too, and I actually use a machine. They're dying in their sleep of sleep apnea, which means they
Yes.
stop breathing,
Yes.
which means they people think like back in the days we used to think that severe snoring was just normal. Oh, my grandpa, my pops, my uncle,
He
he just snored,
snores so
but
loud.
he's loud. But a lot of that has to do with the problem that you need to go get checked out because there's some blockage happening. And so a lot of
Yes.
times when they say natural causes, well, it is natural, but you can you can stop that. So a lot of times, oh,
Right.
he peacefully died in his sleep or whatever. And the reason why I'm really elaborating this because I just had a pretty lifelong friend that just happened to him where his wife woke up to him the next day just dead, and she didn't even know what happened. And I told, and then
Well,
when I
not that
scratched the
old, right?
surface, she said that she had told him to go get that he stopped breathing
Get checked.
times before to get checked, and he never did. So
And you
I
know what's wild is we're actually doing that with my husband.
right,
That's the move that we're making because I kind of noticed something one day. I was like,
right.
I was like, you know what? You need to get checked.
So
You
I want
know?
to tell people out there to go get checked out
Yes.
because it'll elevate your
Because you can
blood
do the test at
pressure.
home, right?
Yeah, yes, you can do your test at home.
Or
Um,
you could go to a place.
you can go to a place and they give you something to put on your finger and they can test how many times you stop breathing per night. And what happens is when you stop breathing, eventually, what can happen is your body will no longer do that triggering
And it'll shut
mechanism to
down.
wake you up. It'll just say, "Oh, I'm used to this, so I'm just going to leave you like this," and then that's when you just pass away. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm in a
And
mood right now where I
how old was your
actually have
friend?
my mask, and I'm not afraid to show it. But yeah, I put this over my nose,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I sleep.
And you
It
feel
blows
better when you
air.
wake up?
I what?
You feel better when you wake
I
up?
feel way better. No headaches. I
Mm-hmm.
used to have headaches. My blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure went down back to normal because of that.
Okay.
Because I was always elevating my heart rate because it was stopping. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because you're unhealthy." No, I'm in great shape,
Right.
but it can affect people that are overweight, uh,
Yep.
and skinny
Underweight.
people too. So don't think that just because, oh no, it's because you're no, I'm not. I'm in good shape. I run every day and everything. And it just
Right.
there's just when you get older, what can happen is just stuff back here can get relaxed in your throat and it just blocks everything. It has nothing to
Right.
do with oh, you're just so fat, that's just happening. No,
Well,
no,
I mean, that's a myth.
that is a myth.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing with like hypertension. You got
Hypertension.
super skinny people that blood
Yes.
pressure's out of control.
Out of
It doesn't
control.
have to be, really, you don't have to be really big or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a myth,
Yeah.
and these are things that, people believe,
Yeah. Right.
and these are,
So
I really, to be honest, they're limiting beliefs because, I mean, it'll kill you if you sit there and say, oh, well, because I'm not 500 pounds, I can't need to wear a CPAP.
yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
I'm all right.
It's crazy because you already know that traditionally, people, especially people of our color,
Of
they'll
color.
just they'll just in ethnicity, they'll say they'll just brush it off like that's
Yeah.
normal. Like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
just snore and that's it. No, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
not normal. That's why a lot of us get passed off as just dying of natural causes that could have been prevented if you would
Yes.
have got the right treatment. So I
Yes.
do
And there's
advise
nothing
you,
wrong with that.
yes, nothing wrong with that. So if your husband ever wants to speak with me, because this is like my third different mask, because
Okay.
it was hard at first when I first
Challenging.
got it, and I
Yeah, I
kept
can
taking it
see.
off. It took a while to get used to it, but now I don't want to sleep without it. When I travel, even out of the country, I
You
take
take
it
it?
with me. Yeah, and they don't even count it as a bag or mess with that. That's a life
Oh,
sustaining. It comes it has its own suitcase they send you,
okay, God, that's good. Okay,
and
that's really good. That's good to know.
amazing.
Yeah, because that's what we're working on. We've got to, because of our wonderful pandemonium that we've gone through, they blame that on everything. And so it sometimes it's difficult to get in to see these specialists, now, because,
Yeah, it is.
it
It
take you a
is.
month or two to get in to see a regular doctor unless you're
No, it is.
dying.
It was a time consuming thing, but
Yeah.
just start that process. And like I said, if
Yes.
your husband wants to reach out to me and ask me some questions, he can
Sure.
ask me some questions because I've been on the CPAP machine probably now for about 4 years now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I
So
just
it's
sleep
really
so
helpful.
much better. I sleep all the
Okay.
way through. Like I said, my blood pressure is normal now.
See, that's the part.
I feel rested,
Yes.
and
And you
just
don't have to sleep as long, do you?
no, but no. And then when you're up, you're up. You don't feel tired all day and
Okay.
worn out.
That's
You
the
feel
thing.
just vigorous and ready. So
Okay. That's a
it'll
good
take him
thing.
a while to get used to it. Believe me. And he
Right.
might have to try out a few different masks till he finds out the one that he likes, one that covers the mouth, ones that just the
That can
nose, one
work.
that just goes like this, one that go. Just tell him to try out a few until he gets the one that he likes.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
it's worth it for his health.
For sure.
And to prolong his
Because we
life.
want to live a long time. Because
Yeah,
we
prolong your
we have
life.
we haven't even been married 10 years yet. So
Yeah.
we want to live a long time. I told him that, I have to have at least 20 with him because I had 20 with the other one that wasn't worth it.
Yes. No, you're looking out for him. Just make sure he does that and get on it, and it'll change his life after he really gets acclimated to that mask. It'll change his life where he won't
Yeah,
want to sleep without that mask. Because even
I
when I
can
lay
see
down and
it.
take a nap, I want to get my mask and put it on. It
Do
feels
you
so
really,
good.
even for a nap?
Even for a nap, I want to put it on because it blows cool air down in
Mm-hmm.
your nose, and it just you can get it set to the right. They'll set it to the right way, and it just feels great. And I'm
Oh,
just used
nice.
to it
Okay,
now.
that's
I'm
good.
used to it now. So
See, and that's a plus because, a lot of us, just like you said,
yeah,
we don't want to go in that direction.
we don't
We
want to go
feel
in that
like,
direction.
no,
Oh
we're like,
no, we just
no,
brush it
no.
off, or
Yeah,
you
no.
know,
I just snore.
no. And I'm glad that
My blood
we've
pressure's just
evolved
high
to a.
as hell.
I'm very happy that we're as humanity, period, evolving um to a place where we can have talks like this and not be embarrassed. Like,
Yeah.
the old me would have been embarrassed. I wouldn't have told people, oh, I wear this mask. Or no, I want to help. If I can help someone else,
Yes.
through showing what's going on with me, then
Yes.
I'm that's not embarrassing to me. To me, that's real
No.
life and that's
Mm-hmm.
growth.
Yes.
Anybody out there that
Yes.
would ever poke fun at that, then they haven't evolved yet. And I pray
Yes.
for them. That's all, because you shouldn't.
It,
Anything that's
that's
meant to
exactly
help
right.
somebody, that's nothing to play around with.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Because just like we were saying, so many people are leaving this earth too
yeah,
young. And
too
I'm just
young.
like,
And that,
I'm
like,
like,
and
no.
that's what got me into that. That some of it, not all of it, but some of it is that. Like when
Yeah.
you hear those stories, oh, he just died peacefully in sleep.
Peacefully in his sleep
I
at
hear that
35.
a lot, and now that I know, I always say something nudges me and goes, sleep apnea
Mm-hmm.
could have been prevented.
Yep. Yep. And it's amazing how many things that are so simple that we can
Yep.
do to
Yes.
keep us healthy, keep us, vibrant, and keep us, doing like we do. Because my thing is this: I don't think that we're supposed to live sick. I don't think that
No.
we are supposed to die and have dementia. I don't think none of that shit is how we're supposed to be.
Right.
I
I
feel
don't think
like
so either.
no, I mean,
We
I
can
know
prevent.
that there are
Yeah.
things we can prevent it,
Yeah. And
but do we want to? That's one thing.
a lot of times, our body. I was having this conversation before with someone else. Our bodies will give us a warning, and it's up to us to um
Listen.
to listen and say, hey, go get this checked out. Something ain't feeling right, or something ain't
Mm-hmm.
right. And a lot of times people, they'll notice something ain't feeling right, and they'll just, it'll just go away, especially as men. And it's like, no, go in there. You notice something's not right with your body. It's better to go in there and be told that it's nothing than go in there and say, hey, you should have got this checked out a long time ago. It's too late now.
Look, how long has this been going on? A year?
Yeah. A year's too late now. We can't stop it now. Now, if you would have came 6 months earlier, we would have been able to stop this. And
Right.
that happens also in a lot of cancer cases where people notice some things are not right, and
Especially
then
colon
they
cancer,
put it off. Yeah, and then
which
next
is
thing you
one of
know,
the easiest one of the easiest cancers to treat.
yeah,
You
and to
know,
get
it's
and
one
to
of the
get checked
easiest
out.
ones. Yeah.
You people, since we're on this vibe, I'm gonna stay on this vibe. People no
Okay.
longer have to just go and get this camera put in. You can actually send samples of your
Yes.
feces for them to
Mm-hmm.
check. So you can do that. You can get a
Yeah.
kit. They tell your doctor,
Mm-hmm.
send me a colon cancer stool kit
Mm-hmm.
in the mail, and they'll send it to
Yeah.
your mail. Put some of that on there, send it back, and they check
I
it
was
out.
gonna say, or you can just take yourself in and get
And
that colonoscopy and feel that
yeah,
propofol and get your good sleep.
yep. No, you can. Either way, I'm just saying there's
But
options
yeah,
out
it's
there.
easy to do.
It's
That's the
easy to
point.
do now to
Not
prevent a
anything
lot of
hard to
things.
do. Right. And you can actually prevent so much because I say that because my grandfather actually was diagnosed with colon cancer and
Right.
he went in and what they did for him, and this was way back in the probably the 80s,
Right.
he they took a piece of his colon out and that was it. He didn't do no chemo, no radiation, no nothing. And he was fine
Wow. Wow.
for another 20 years. And
Wow.
then when it came back, of course, it spread everywhere. But he was 80 in his 80s,
In his
80
80s.
some, and by that time he was actually ready because my grandmother had already passed a few years before. So
Right.
he was just waiting. He was like, I'm ready to go be with Rube, blah, blah, blah. But, I said that to say that that simple thing prolonged his life all those years. He just had that surgery,
For
got it
another 20
done,
years.
another 20
Wow.
years, done.
Wow. That's amazing.
you know. Now, of
See?
course, we all go and make sure we get our colonoscopies because of that history that we have,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
But
just
anything,
doing
any
that.
pains, anything that just feels just out of whack,
Yes.
go get it checked out. I'm not saying you got a
Yeah.
hangnail, but anything, especially if day in and day out, you keep feeling, okay, I'm feeling something in my side, and it's
Hmm.
been going on for 2, 3 days, it's
Right.
not going away. Go get it checked out.
Hmm.
Just go get it
It's
checked
it's
out.
so easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like I said, it seems a little bit difficult right now to try to get appointments. But if you really
Yeah, it
got something
is.
going on, take your behind to the urgent care, the ER.
Yep.
Start there.
Do that. Yep.
And then you can, from there you can try to get in and see your doctor and all these things because I called my doctor one day and they were like, oh, well, she can see you. And it was like 4 or 5 weeks out. I was like, what?
Yeah. I want to be seen now.
Right? I need to be seen now, And I was like, is there a place I can go? Because I mean, somebody needs to check this, and
Yes.
they're like, oh, well, you can always go to urgent care. And so, that's where you end up going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, or sometimes you just got to play the theatric game, and okay, it's something that you really want to get checked out now, make it sound more urgent than it really is,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, unfortunately, we got to do that sometimes and say, hey, look, I don't know, but I can't feel my foot, you know, so I got to
So
get in
we
there
got to get
now.
this checked.
5 weeks from now, I might not have one,
Right. It
so I
might be
got to get in
gone.
there. Yeah, so there you go. Even if you might feel just a little ache in the foot, like I can't feel
Yeah.
it, I got
Right.
to come in now.
Right. And I've already
So
tried everything I know.
yeah,
I drank enough water because, sometimes you get aches because you don't drink enough water and we need
right,
water in our body. So,
right,
you drink enough water, you make sure you're exercising or, moving your body in some way.
right,
You make sure that you are, meditating or praying or both. I always recommend both. And
right.
make sure that you're
I do too.
de-stressing. These are all things. And once you've done all those things and nothing has changed in how you feel, then yeah, you need to go get checked.
I'll get checked out. Yeah, it
And
won't hurt.
that saves so many lives if you think about it.
Right, right. Yeah. See,
Especially as we are.
I'm very even thankful even more that we had this conversation today. Like you said, it took its own turn to like a health segment, and it's great because more people do
Yes.
need to get checked out, especially for this sleep apnea. For
Yes.
you have severe snoring, or you somebody tells you, hey, you're gasping. You wake up gasping. That means
Mm-hmm.
you weren't breathing for a while. Or if you
Right.
wake up a lot of times, see what happened with me is I would wake up out of my sleep with my heart beating, and I thought, okay, I just thought I had a nightmare or something. Oh, that's why it's racing.
Right.
And it kept happening. I'm like, wait a minute.
This is
Finally,
not right.
finally come to the realization, no, it's beating like that because I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
been breathing for a while.
Because your body was talking to you.
My body was talking to me, and then even my wife would tell me, "Hey, I was getting ready to shake you because I could hear you breathing heavily. Then I didn't hear anything at all for a while. So I started watching you,
Yes.
and just as I was about to touch you, you gasp for air and start breathing.
Yep.
Go get checked out."
Yep.
So ever since that
That's
time,
exactly.
I went and got checked out because I'm waking up with headaches. I'm waking up, I'm still tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then you would have to sleep a long time and still wake up tired.
Still wake up.
Like instead of regular 6 or 7, 8 hours or whatever, you
Oh
would
yeah.
have to try to sleep 10 hours or
Yep,
12
because you're not
hours.
getting that right sleep. You're not,
Right.
your body is not going through the right sleep cycles because you're disrupting it with your breathing. You can't, you're snapping yourself out of it. So it's not
Yes.
going through the right sleep cycles
Mm-hmm.
for you to sleep and
Yeah.
get that rest.
Yes. And that is something that, just like we said, it's easy to get checked. It's easy. I mean, it's a process, but it
Right.
is easy. It's not like it's something that's difficult, or you don't got to go up the hill and down to the valley and all that stuff. You just go and have the test done, and then they'll let you know. And more than likely, just like you said, if you notice that you are not breathing at night, that's what's going on.
Right. Right.
So stop fucking around and stop playing and just go get
Yep.
checked.
Get checked. That's amazing. And I know somebody's going to really feel that here. And then excuse me,
Yes.
before we go, how can people find you? I wanted to talk more, a little bit more, but we'll do that. I want to get you on here again because I want to
Okay.
talk about these best-selling books next time.
Oh, yes, yes,
But
yes.
before we go, how can people find you?
You can find me always on Facebook at Tammi Morrison. Um, I have a business page, Unleashing Your True Self, but nobody ever uses that hardly anyway. But you can always find me there. And then also YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, Tammi Morrison. And Instagram, I am really Tammy Y Morrison. I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are basically the places that I am.
And
Um,
oh, go ahead.
no,
Now I will be sure to put all those the links that you also sent me into the
yes,
description of the video so people can just click on them and get right to it. But I appreciate
yes,
having this conversation with you today, and it was meant to
yes,
be. And
it was.
yes, it's amazing that how when you talk to people, you find these similarities and things. And
Yes.
oh, this my husband's this, and yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
that, and my
Yeah.
grandma this, yeah, me too. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing when you really take the time and speak with people, especially when you're on a
Yes.
similar journey and
Yes.
both have the same uh, intentions and
Yes.
similar
So I
mindsets.
I definitely want you on my show.
Yes, yes, reach out to me and let's make it happen.
Yes, we could do that. Because I definitely I love your energy, and this has been my pleasure, and I've enjoyed this.
Thank
So
you very
yeah.
much. The feeling is mutual, and thank you
Yes.
everyone for watching. uh,
Yes.
I know you appreciate this as much as I have. Like I told you,
Yes.
this always excites me. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone. I send you peace, love, appreciation, prosperity, just health to everyone. Thank you very
Yes. Thank
much.
you.
See you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved.
Yes. Bye-bye.